Still need a minute after that. I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, so yesterday's bans I did have here somewhere, which we will look at in a second. Yeah. Because this we've already had 4 come out. So some mid, some top lane bans already.
Indeed. So LeBlanc comes out as another mid lane ban, this time from the side of Gamers2. And on the opposite side, it is Kennen. And they did this yesterday as well as their final ban.
They did. They banned Nidalee as well for Reason Gaming. Remember, as we said, Gamers2 yesterday didn't have any bans. There was a lot more open as we went through the early picks and bans phase yesterday. So what will Reason? Will they stick with the Nidalee? Will they change it up a little bit here for their last ban? Gamers2 banned Zed. So, you know, another mid lane priority. We know Take Fun plays Zed.
Yeah.
That's something that is pretty much a given whenever you play against Reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Take Fun and his assassins.
Yes,
is
exactly.
The story of that one.
Sadly, no Fizz for him anymore.
No,
he's now
I know.
Top lane champion.
Rest in peace, his soul.
Yeah, Take Fun, man, he's having his champion pool kind of reduced.
Yeah.
By DFG,
piece
and
by
goodbye
piece.
Take Fun's champion
yeah,
pool.
literally just like, yeah, I've never really broken it down like that, but
okay,
hello,
hang on,
Jarvan ban, interesting.
That's different.
Yeah, because this is post-changes to Jarvan, and they still feel a threat from Gilius with his Jarvan.
And they banned Nidalee yesterday, and Nidalee is open, and Nidalee is a top-tier jungler. Yeah. So Gilius is a Jarvan player. That is something that is pretty much out there. We saw him play with SK at Worlds. Yep. We've seen him playing way back on Unicorns of Love. You know, he plays Jarvan. Is it that strong a pick right now that it is worth banning at this situation? Because yes, it still has everything else that Jarvan had, apart from the early game play. You still have the engage, you still have the knock-up and the crowd control.
But that is so important because you can punish that so hard, and well, what do you know? It's going to be Nidalee coming out as the first pick from Gamers2. They kind of just let that one slide, but they had an immediate response in the form of Lissandra and Kalista. Yeah,
and when we've been going through LCS pick and ban phases, typically Kalista has been a very high-profile pick, and Lissandra, mainly because Lissandra is one of the best forms of engage onto a Kalista. Kalista you can only really engage on reliably with a point-and-click stun, and that comes from Lissandra's ultimate. So the fact that they've got Nidalee here and given the Lissandra over to Reason Gaming gives them a very easy 1-2 on the picks.
Yeah, and it's also great early on into the phase because it's a flex pick. It could go anywhere. This leaves their comp ambiguous. Really nice from Reason Gaming coming in here. And then Gamers2, how do they respond? Do they even go double AD? We'll see, that's the question. But they do have this Nidalee coming in here, so they have that nice early game jungler.
Yeah, so they wanted to get Gilius onto something comfortable here, but there was a lot open. Rek'Sai was available as well, should they have gone for it. So now Gamers2 have to look for something else. We saw the Corkiani in the last game. We're going to see it here again in this game. So
it does a little better.
Yeah, we'll see if it does do a little better, and maybe no flashes into a QSS. As I did notice, Voidal kind of did one of those at the end of the last game.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I was watching Gamers2 playing Origin earlier today. And Gamers2 were playing a very unorthodox comp. They actually were playing Mordekaiser, I'm not lying here, with Lissandra. They played Mord mid, Liss top. And I don't believe Mordekaiser is available because of the rework.
Correct.
We'll have to figure that out, but in this situation, they won't have the Lissandra available. So I wonder whether Gamers2 have anything else that's different and new. They are trying out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, Rek'Sai was available, so that just means Reason Gaming are going to pick it. We also have that Kalista, so, you know, we haven't seen Nunu in EU too much, but that could have also been an option for them here. And we do have maybe even the Leona, so that has a lot of engage. You've got the Rek'Sai burrowing in, and then in comes the Leona. And that's also the Leona Annie matchup that we saw from last game as well.
Yeah, it is indeed. So solo lane is still to go for Gamers2. Will they go for the fairly standard of just picking Ahri, as she is pretty strong right now? And that might be a mid lane pick for them. What would they go for the top lane? So they know that they're up against potentially, well, they know there's going to be a flex of Lissandra. So what exactly is going to be the choice here? This would be a very poke-heavy composition if they lock all of this in and then have a little bit of engage from the Scion. But, and of course, Annie. But
so they pick up the Scion, and Nar's open right here as well.
Yeah.
It's been said before that Scion's kind of a discount Nar, but they choose to go for him regardless, and they both kind of do have that engage. I guess Scion's reliable in the sense you can ult whenever you want to ult, but not reliable in the fact that he just runs at you.
My problem here is you're picking Sion into a fairly strong solo laner of Lissandra, or a potentially stronger solo laner, somebody else that can bully you around. So maybe if Reason want to put Kuban onto Rumble again, I believe he played it yesterday, we may very well see that again. Yeah, he did play
into
Rumble.
Lissandra.
No, he played the Irelia matchup of that side. He went 11-1 and 11. I was thinking of, yes, that is indeed what happened. But I mean, there's a lot still available for Reason to do here, that they can pick their lane. They know they're up against an AD mid laner and a Sion top. Likely to be Ezreal in the mid lane. We've seen this comp from quite a few people here. We saw a lot out of Faker, with, or at least with the Ezreal in the mid lane. Not quite so much this this lineup. But a Maokai here, you have to feel would give Sion, if you're in a 1v1, a fairly easy lane. But if you're looking to 2v1 and lane swap, Sion is very good, Maokai is okay, and has his prominence later into the game.
Indeed, so there's a couple of options for Reason Gaming right now and what they want to do. Maokai would kind of just go right down the middle, as it were, in this one. So only a couple seconds before that's locked in, and it doesn't look like that's the case. So Reason Gaming do have their full roster coming in here. They have that engaged from Leona, from Lissandra, from the Rek'Sai even, and that's just such a big front line for Kalista to just run circles around the enemy team.
And we've spoken about Celiva putting up good stat lines. This time, they're not relying so much on Kuban to carry. This time, they're like, Celiva, we're going to give it to you.
Yeah,
We've got
everything
to protect you.
Yeah, and we'll see if he does indeed do that. And we spoke a little bit about the Gamers 2 composition. They've got that long-range poke, and they have the engage from like Annie and from Sion. Whereas, well, it's like instant engage from Annie, whereas Sion will get there eventually, whereas everyone kind of parts.
This is a really interesting comp from Gamers 2 in the way that it doesn't have one clear focus. You've got the poking ability, but then the rest of the champions don't exactly lend themselves to do much after the poke. Yes, you get the engage, but normally you're so far back against a Nidalee and an Ezreal that Annie engage and Sion engage should be fairly easy to see coming. So it's all about controlling vision for Reason Gaming.
Yeah, I almost would have liked to see maybe a Veigar, because then you get the poke, and then you can just like, boop, there's the event horizon, and then we siege. But then you have the Annie.
This is 5.4.
It is,
so
yeah. Oh, Veigar, yeah.
New Veigar,
yeah.
So
indeed, you're absolutely right, Stress. And that also means he's disabled, because he's had such a big change to him. He's actually got that Q that now goes through a minion, which is a little cool.
Yeah, you know, we're not seeing it in this game. So I'm going to worry myself about Veigar when we actually do end up seeing him. But in this game, we have the Annie against the Leona down in that bottom lane. We saw it in the last game. The Leona came out ahead pretty much unanimously, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, Leona's great at getting on top of Annie, of course, so in the laning phase, maybe that's something they want to swap out of. We'll see as we get into this game, but you saw the prime example of that happening in the last game, because, yeah, you jump on Annie, and she dies. So, yeah that's the end of that story.
Pretty much,
all she wrote.
That is all she wrote. You know, looking at the Gamers 2 lineup, they can kind of afford to pick the Sion top in the sense that when you pick a Sion top, you need to have damage sources coming from elsewhere. Nidalee is a damage source in this game. You know, obviously, Ezreal and Corki will have their own damage, so they're okay kind of reducing the amount of damage that they have on the Sion. I just wonder, because Celiva is likely to go Blade of the Ruined King at some point on Kalista, so it's not like Reason should have much trouble dealing with the Sion as it gets later into the game. Just looking for how those kind of interactions go. Yeah,
I mean, the Blade of the Ruined King will give them the kite around the team, which you can kite around, which would be pretty much a no-brainer. But yeah, I mean, yesterday we saw a very decisive win up against Gamers 2, and it was way more decisive than I was expecting. I would like to see today whether they've figured out their opponents, because they did the same last week when they played Lowland Lions. And by day 2, they had really just figured them out, and they went for that 25-minute win. So I'm really just hoping that they've done this time around to at least even up the tables.
And, you know, Gamers 2 weren't happy about yesterday. They really weren't happy about their loss. They were very vocal about it, actually, when you go back on social media. And you have to wonder, does that stir up a fire inside of Gamers 2 to come back? And this would actually be our first series that would go one-on-one if Gamers 2 were to win this. I think it's possible as well. Or does that kind of dwell on your mind that you lost yesterday? That's something that Gamers 2 will have had to have dealt with overnight. And they lost earlier to Origin as well. So it hasn't been the best 24 hours for Gamers 2. So whatever they have to do, they have to focus themselves.
Yeah, and right now they're in the middle of the standings after those 5 games. So a win here would start equalizing them, and then they would still be tied, but further up. But losing here would really start putting them even near Maus, who are near the bottom. And Gamers 2, we came into this one when they were previously Nevo when we came out of the qualifiers, and we were like, this is really the team which will probably be challenging Origin for those top 2 spots. And so far, the other teams have just performed and gotten so much better from week to week to week, whereas Gamers 2, yes, they've done well against certain teams, but haven't kind of blown us out of the water in kind of the way we were expecting them to play.
I've noticed a trend with Gamers too. If Gilius gets ahead in the early game, they tend to have a lot more cohesion. Gilius tends to lead from the front in that situation, and certainly on Nidalee, that is one champion that can do it. It's one of the only champions currently that has an okay time against Rek'Sai. Both of them have sustain, both of them have damage, so it's going to be on Gilius to get himself at least into Zayu's jungle and start, you know, causing trouble.
Yeah, but as we do get into the game, tab over to Twitter and use the hashtags G2win or RGwin to throw in your vote for who you think will down the Nexus, and we'll check in on your responses during the match.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, as we said, importance. This could determine the second place team here. That could determine who's going into the playoff brackets as that number 2 seed.
Well, of course you want it, because most likely Origin will be number 1 seed, and you don't want any of that until you get to the finals. So, yeah, it would give you a much nicer road to try and get into that final spot.
It would do, indeed. And, you know, that is always the big concern now is, okay, so top spot is probably gone. There's still the tiniest glimmer of hope. If we win every game from here, and Origin lose every game from here, it's going to be okay. But no.
I wouldn't take those chances.
I'm not a betting man, so no, neither would I at that point. But I would bet on the fact that we're going into game.
Yeah, and that would be dead certain, because they are going onto the spawn pads. Here we go, Celev coming in. He will be binding Libic. There we go. Whoop. He comes back alive, and he will be heading on to the Rift. Those two are now bound up and ready to put down the hurt onto the bot lane. It will be Jeebus and Heaver, unless they decide to do some lane swap shenanigans. And right now, we do see Reason Gaming. Will they fan out? Because they were all keeping together for a couple seconds, but it looks like they are going to do just that.
You talk about lane swap shenanigans. If there were 2 top laners to kind of maybe indicate the potential of a lane swap, Sion is certainly one of them. Maokai is another, but Heaver, oh, he's been caught.
Oh, is that Voidal? It's not. It's Heaver, as he's moving back, taking a couple more auto attacks. He even laughs it off. And Celev puts down his ward. There's wards in return. All the warding.
The orchestra of wards there.
Yeah.
You know, wards, when multiple are placed, have different tones. And Libic will now have heard how many wards go down. Heaver's caught again.
Again, he jumps onto him with the Zenith Blade. There's the Ignite. Is it going to be enough? He has put down his own biscuit, so he chews through that and will be keeping himself alive. Libic takes a bunch of damage. Jeebus does the same. Aiku, all the meanwhile, was putting down the hurt onto Saliva and everyone else who was retreating, and he'll continue up the trend. Sion was there to block them off, but he's by himself right now until the cavalry arrives. Saliva actually just walks back into them. There's the heal. He'll have to flash away, but both of his summoners. Takefun now responds with his own Ice Shard, and the spear comes through. Doesn't quite connect onto the Lysandra.
Okay, I'm taking a look at what summoners were blown there, because Reason actually come out behind from that expedition into the jungle. Yes, they got a lot of deep vision. Yes, they should be able to spot out for a lane swap. I wonder how long they're going to hold on for this. Yes, G2 also got their own wards down. It'll be less likely that they can find it, but one thing that did, I was going to say did disrupt, but it actually didn't. Smitty J is able to now just go over to the Raptor camp and actually do the Sion level 1 strat, where you suicide to the Raptors, teleport back up to top lane as level 2. I believe that Reason were trying to maybe stop him from doing that with a Maokai sapling. So Reason overall come out behind in that.
Yeah, it was a lot happened, but yes, Reason Gaming overall did come out slightly behind in that trade.
They did. You know, with the Sion level 1 strat, we've also seen the Maokai level 1 strat with the saplings. Kubon dropped a little bit low off that, but both of them should be able to get back to the lane.
Yeah, it just means they both burn the teleports as
well.
Yeah,
exactly. They both get the level, both burn the teleports. Smitty J did get back a little bit sooner, though.
Yeah, it just meant he was able to get an extra minion over Kubon. He didn't get in range for the 1 minion that died, so he's going to be ever so slightly behind, but this is not a lane that's just going to be like butting, they butt heads all the time, but they're not really going to die because of it.
Yeah, not really going to find too many kills, but bottom lane is a lane we have to kind of watch out for here, because Celebi now has no summoner spells. He doesn't have flash or heal, and no ignite on the side of Libic, so there's really no kill pressure from Reason in this bottom lane, unless Gamers2 mess up pretty hard here. They still have heal and flash if they were to catch Annie, potentially, but they have to respect, again, the burst that is going to come from Corki and Annie. Yeah,
especially when they get a bunch of levels under their belt, and the fact that Celiva has no summoners, which means they can't be as aggressive as they may have wanted. Just see Zayu flashing up red in the jungle. No need for concern, as he is only just fueling those creeps, and I have a feeling he'll come out ahead.
Yeah, he'll sustain himself up as he goes between camp to camp here. And Zayu's done pretty much a full clear here. In fact, it is a full clear, and he will be able to go back. These are pretty much the... Nobody saw that. These are pretty much the two junglers that can actually do this kind of full clear in the early game. It's a very greedy style, and if you actually get invaded on, it's very dangerous to do if your enemy calls you out on it. But because of the sustain, because of the damage, they're comfortable to do it. However, Gilius now has the health to gank. He's full health. He's going in.
First gank of the game comes into the bot lane. Here comes the pounce, the swipe, the auto attacks, and the takedown. The first blood for Corki will be getting that kill. Moving on to Libic as well. Does not quite have the damage to finish off the support, but a nice 1-0 opens up the game for Gamers2.
Great start out by Gilius. Not only did he do a full clear, also comes down for the gank because he was healthy enough for it. And that is the start that Gamers2 needed to turn this series around. They were, after yesterday's defeat, as we said, a little bit saddened by the result. This is the beginning that they need. You need kills and assists onto Nidalee to get her into a good position before that kind of dip in the mid-game that we've seen out of jungle Nidalee.
Indeed, and hopefully that's where Ica and Jeebus will pick up the slack, because we all know how strong that Corki and the 24 spikes that we'll be getting from those two players will be. In the mid lane, it's Ica up against Take Fun here. Just have that Lissandra now coming into play, this time flexed into the mid lane. Depict Kubon, picking up the Maokai up there. Even went Lumberjack Scion as well. Does not make him super effective against Maokai.
You'd think it would.
You would.
Unfortunately, this...
would.
Oh, dear. Am I casting the NACS right now?
Maybe, maybe. Here comes a Decimating Smash. Got him.
Got him, but you couldn't really collect the... do you know what, I'm not even going to try with the Lumberjack puns.
Stress is just done, dude.
I'm done. I'm clearly not a Lumberjack.
I'm not, but yeah, no.
Still working on becoming the Rift.
Can she chop down Hiva? Comes in with the Xenoblade, comes out with the Eclipse as well. Jeebus is putting down the damage onto Celiva, but now he's overextended. You just have all those spears for the rend from Kalista coming out. Hiva responds with the Incinerate. Meanwhile, the junglers going head-to-head. And along with the mid lane there to assist, Zayu will come out on top and takes away the big Raptor.
He does indeed. And you know what? In that little engage in the bot lane, G2, they got the heal from Celiva. I think they were actually expecting to get the kill potentially, but then timing worked out coincidentally in their favor because they get the heal. So even though they couldn't complete the kill, still getting a lot out of this bottom lane. Zayu, however, wants to get something here as Hiva is sticking around in lane.
Well, circling down Hiva, here comes the dive in. Libic, can he stay alive though? This needs to be really clean, and he just walk out and gets that one. So 3-on-1, they come out with the kill. They will return with that first kill of the game for their side, making that 1-1 overall.
Oh, Libic just teasing with the edge of tower radius there. I actually thought it still stayed in tower. But at that point, Reason, that was just pretty well-worked gank by them. However, Gilius is going to punish Zayu a little bit. Oh, Libic, he's on a ward!
Right on top of him. There's a phosphorus bomb. Celiva will just be trying to kite back, but Jeebus has just come back from base. He's a little bit strong, and he'll keep up the aggression with that phase. He's got the extra movement speed. He'll have to flash away. Jeebus comes in for the double, the 1-on-2. Wow, unbelievable play from Jeebus. That's a hashtag big play if I've ever seen one.
Really nice play out of Jeebus, and Gilius is looking to follow up with another one. Kubon, very low on mana.
Just needs to land the spear, and point blank, he's going to get it. The pounce comes through, there's the swipe, follows it with the takedown. Smitty J will just try to get all the tower aggro before he comes with it. Oh, the bot lane, there will be Ica coming through with the assist, and that will just allow Gilius to get in, get out. Take Fun comes in from the bot side, can he catch up? He's already used the Glacial Path. He's got ultimate, he doesn't have ultimate, he has flash though. The Ice Shot is not in range, Zayu's too late to the party, and that makes it 4-1 to Gamers2.
This is a much quicker game out of Gamers2. Better pace from them, and they've already used this Nidalee to their advantage. Reason kind of maybe an oversight leaving it open as the first pick here. Banning Jarvan instead of Nidalee is allowing Gilius onto a champion that not only is he quite strong on, but is also top tier in the current meta. Yeah. Maybe really a bit of an oversight out of Reason.
Yeah, that slight blunder in Champion Select, and they even banned it yesterday, so they knew it was a problem. They were just like, well, we beat them so quickly, I guess we can just do it again, but apparently not. Gilius has turned up on Nidalee this game. Mid lane, Xayah will just be able to take care of that before Take Fun returns to lane.
Celevar.
Well, hop, skipping, and jumping will be Annie from the top bush. Doesn't get in range to land the Tibbers, though.
Still has a flash, not quite level 6 at this point, but
Also
still has flash. Yeah, she hasn't quite found Tibbers yet, but at this point, everything on that bottom lane relies... Oh, so close. Relies on that flash timing from Annie being available. And the moment that Libic reaches 6 as well. Those are 2 key points in this bottom lane matchup, but honestly a 3-0 Corki right now is able to output so much more damage than Celevar can.
And the rockets coming through. He is definitely in control of this lane, even though the CS is basically the same. He's got those 2 kills up onto Celevar this game. We even spoke about this game being Celevar's kind of want to win, because Reason Gaming have that front line. They have everything that is kind of... Everything, all the conditions are right for Celevar to be the carry in this game, but has gone 1-2 and 0, and Gilius has really been one of the factors that have put him behind. Plus the plays from Genius.
And Celevar knows that he has to just wait and sit around for a while and wait until team fights, because he can't sit in this lane. He's had to buy level 2 boots already. Will not have a big damage item for a very long time in this matchup, and they rely on Xayah now coming into this lane. With these level 2 boots, it's basically signaling that they need to get themselves into an engage so that Celevar can output damage over a long period of time and then pull with one big rend. Kind of just sit there, but they don't even want this fight. They sense that Gilius is potentially around here, maybe stuck himself into the back of the lane, and they're going to back away.
And now they
even spotted him.
Yeah, the minions are now there. Why did he even
a little bit
interesting.
Another oversight by Reason. After such a convincing game yesterday, they're not quite doing the little things right, and Take Fun's going to go aggressive.
There's the Glacial Tomb. I found it, Stress, and it's right onto Ica. He comes in with the Ice Shard as well, takes him down in the bus. He had that warded from the pink ward.
Really nice read by Take Fun, and the thing that really signaled that engage, Ezreal ulted up through the minions to push. That's what you do on Ezreal. You reduce your opponent's ability to roam, but because of it, you lose so much of your damage that you're not actually able to do anything. Take into account with that cleanse has only just become available for Ica. Great timing out of Take Fun.
Yeah, it's also Frozen Doom. I think it's a Glacial. Either way, we do have Gilius coming into the bot lane here. Maybe trying to get this gank through. Lands the spear onto the side of Celevar. That's enough to just send them packing. He'll just sit a turret, and all he needs to do is just run from here. They know they have the pressure down there, and it's enough to scare them. And now there is a big CS, actually, differential opening up between the bot lane as Jeebus continues to put down the hurt, put down the harassment onto Sadra and Libic. But let's take a step back. Let's take a look at some of the items that are being picked up, because Ica has gone for the traditional Muramana build, where he'll be building against that with Mana Moon. Has picked that up in the mid lane. His opponent, Take Fun, maybe looking for the Zhonya's here, has picked up the Neos Nidal's Rod component. Let's see if he goes anywhere else. The only other option would be Death Cap. But Gamers 2 now move on to the Dragon, and with that significant early game lead, they're trying to convert this into an even bigger one in the form of this Drake objective.
Yeah, Reason are going to have the timer on this, but there's not really too much that they can do right now, save from a Miracle Steal, but not even in position for it. Xayah was looking for it, now gets flashed on.
Right, the Tibbers comes down onto Xayah, who will bore over the wall, but there's the flash, and flash! This time around, Gilius is right on top of him. He turns around, the Queen's Wrath, it almost was enough damage. Even with it, maybe True Damage Fury's bite coming through, it might have been enough damage to take down Gilius. Was not the case. A nice 1-0, lots of summons burn.
Lots of summoners, indeed. And with that Dragon going over 2 Gamers 2, they are continuing to extend this lead right now. And they need to get Take Fun doing more than just killing his lane. And while that's doing a good job for them now, with Dragon not on the table for the next 6 minutes, there isn't really too much that Reason can group for. They now just have to group in response to Gamers 2, which means they have to kind of beat them around the map. No turrets have fallen yet, so we are still in the laning phase as such, but expect Gamers 2 to be more proactive here, and as soon as they sense an opportunity, pull people to another lane and push down a turret.
Right now, Take Fun in the mid lane. He's having a little bit of fun, trying to get those ice shards down. He just managed to pick up that kill just a couple seconds ago, so he's fairly happy where he is at. We do have that Blade of the Rune King you're talking about from Celevar. He's building towards that with the Bilgewater Cutlass now in his inventory. Smitty J in the top lane trading with Kubon. Not a whole lot happening. To be expected. Celiver in the bottom lane, though. He's by himself. He just landed the Incinerate and the stun as well. Jeebus right past the tower aggro. Comes in with the auto attacks and the E as well. Slivic comes in. He was pulled away there by the Kalista ultimate. Jeebus comes down. There's the Soul of Flare. Knocks him into the graveyard. Ezreal ultimate comes across. Not 2 times the charm, but Kubon does head into the fight. He burned that teleport, but he's too late.
Yeah, that's an interesting teleport out of Kubon in this situation. There's no damage dealers there to assist him, and he has to take down 2 full health targets and leave Smitty J available to push the turret up in top. Mid lane again. Yeah,
he saves Neil, but he's already got the cleanse, but the damage may be enough, and he's still taking from the Ignite. The caster minion actually comes in for the last auto. Takefun, though, is under attack by Gilius, and the Cougar takes him out for a 1-for-1 in the mid lane, plus the assist onto Ica.
But again, it's Gilius that is turning these around. That should have been a clean engage from Takefun. He would have got the flash and the cleanse out from Ica if he didn't want to follow up the engage for the kill. But in comes Gilius, and Takefun has to commit, has to make sure he gets that kill. Otherwise, it just doesn't work for them. But Libic has roamed up. Gilius, half health, in no man's land.
He's on the hunt. There's a shield of Daybreak right into Zenith Blade. And there's a shutdown from Celiver, trying to get himself back into this game. 2-3-1 right now. That was definitely the first step to doing so.
Basically, what Reason have said here is that we're going to pick something up from another lane because Jeebus is too strong for us in this bottom lane. We cannot sit here. The turret is already taking damage, so let's prepare for the inevitability that we have to come to mid. And, you know, this Bilgewater Cutlass on Celiver, there's, as always with item builds, 2 schools of thoughts with different AD carries and different builds. Hey, that's the same Crosstown Express, blue buff to blue buff again that Amazing took. Wonder whether they got a return ticket. But yeah, the Bilgewater Cutlass builds, normally great when you're ahead. You don't quite have as much damage over a short amount of time.
There you go.
He gets it. Ica's been on point.
And try again.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep, persistence is a virtue. Takefun comes into the mid lane. He's no longer got that blue buff, but he's full mana anyway, so he's not too bad. 2-1-0 right now. He has actually gone for that Zhonya's Hourglass for that build. Heaver, with the lane pushing from Ica, he is able to take away this pink ward here, so establishing some vision control. You can see those very deep wards into the bottom jungle actually coming in from Reason Game, despite how the game state is with them being behind. Whereas Gamers 2, yes, they kind of have some vision control around the mid lane, but I was kind of expecting a little more with how much control they've had over the game.
Yeah, you would expect more control out from Gamers 2. A lot of the wards are just starting to time out, but Ica, no cleanse.
Yeah, no cleanse, and there comes the Frozen Tomb coming out. Zayu takes another tower shot. Gilius comes in for the cleanup. He gets one. Gilius, oh, there's the Soul of Flare coming down. Another ice shot as well from Takefun. He's got his double buffs. He's reclaimed it. And Heaver, one more auto attack. There's the red buff taking as well. Triple kill for Takefun. Now Jeebus comes into the fray. Can he make something happen? Misses 2 rockets in a row and says, I'm done here.
So we said that this could be a protect Celiver comp, but honestly, what are they going to do against Takefun right now? Because Takefun 5-1-0. Zhonya's Hourglass already completed in this Lissandra versus Ezreal matchup. Very difficult to deal with, and you can see that Ica is just crumbling under the pressure. 0-3-3 in the early onset of this game.
Yeah, not the greatest of starts from Ica. His ultimates have been good, but everything else has been less good.
Yeah, he's just been forced by Takefun to just burn his summoners. Pretty much on
over
cooldown.
and over again.
Every time Takefun knows they're up, oh, pop the cleanse. Get the heal. And, you know, just Takefun's doing a good job of that.
Yeah, and Zayu just clearing out the middle wave here, maybe aggressing onto Jeebus. But you can see the vote coming in here. 62% to Gamers 2, despite their loss yesterday. And you may even be right, because 600 gold advantage coming in here. They are ahead, but Reason Gaming have definitely started to stabilize the game.
They have, but it's going to take them a while. I believe, yeah, this is this mid-lane fight that did just happen. Ica, no summoners. This is easy pickings here. Yes, Zayu does end up dropping for it. Takes a lot of damage. But Gilius, in wanting to chase this kill, actually kind of gets baited in a little bit into Libic in this fight. And just pops off the ice shard.
Yeah. There's also the positioning of Tibbers, which allowed him to get the damage from behind there. But Heaver was also in prime position, and that's the triple kill. He's in really nice shape. He's even got the Phoenix Codex coming in here as well. You can no longer get Death Agras, but you can find a use for that one.
Rest in peace. Anyway, Triforce has been completed here. That is a big moment here for this Corki. 4-1-1. It's a very early Triforce. Take into account Kalista on that Blade of the Ruined King. Surprisingly, is, well, I would say surprisingly, but knowing this game, how it has gone, is behind on farm now by about 25 CS. And that's something very interesting, actually, because Jeebus, in pretty much every game that they've played, has been ahead of their opponents in CS. Typically, it's only about a wave and a half at the 10-minute mark, but this time, he's actually way ahead of Celiva in this matchup.
Yeah. Way ahead indeed. And now everyone is grouped into this mid lane. Dragon is now live, so they'll continue to go head-to-head and dance around not only the middle lane, but now around this Dragon area. We do have the Celiva just to the bottom side here. Does not want to get caught by Gamers2, which have kind of cut him off. He can't quite get to his team, so he have to take the long route around, but they have that warded. So they do go for the initiate here. Take Fun comes with the glacial path. There's the Ezreal ultimate coming across, but is it enough damage? Jeebus comes down. He's actually very low himself. Everyone's focusing him out. He finally goes down, but they've committed so much to him. Livik almost gets caught by the decimating smash, but doesn't get CC'd. Smitty J is so tanky. Tibbers is even chiming in here as well. Kuban is just on the backside. Celiva jumps over the wall, but he still goes down. Livik is saying, peace out, I'm out of here. And Kuban is the last sacrificial tree. 4-4-1, and they'll move on to the Dragon.
Easy cleanup for Gamers2 from the beginning, and as you said, Celiva had to cut his way up through the river to get to that fight. And for so much of the fight, he was trying to jump up over the wall and couldn't get it. Comes back down, then flashes over. Celiva held onto his flash a little bit more than perhaps he could have in that little engage, and Gamers2 will take themselves a Dragon and the 4 kills from it. They're in a great position. Yeah,
so all that work that Reason Gaming have done in the last couple of minutes for naught, but we're going to see that one again.
We are. Hiva looked like he was caught out here, and look at the damage that just comes from Jeebus and Gilius in this situation. Hiva still half health. Yes, they get the knock-up here, I believe, on Jeebus, and yes, they do end up killing him, but take a look at Celiva's positioning here. He's hopping around the fight, avoids a lot of the crowd control, but in this situation, isn't able to get himself into a position to try and get up over the wall. Big spike of damage means that after the flash, he's dead anyway.
Yeah, I kind of thought of the option a little too late there, because Tibbers was in the position if he wanted it, but yeah, not quite the case. Zayu coming in from the left-hand side, and then maybe get something done onto Jeebus. He is the prime target for Reason Gaming. Now 3,000 gold behind, so they are opening up that big gap once again with those 2 objectives on their side. And hello, Blue, what are you doing there?
Yeah, what is he doing there? But, well, Gilius is going to take him out anyway. But, you know, that was the time for Gamers2 to fight, though. We'd already mentioned Trinity Force was picked up. I believe the Frozen Heart as well onto Sion. They just had so much in that engage that played into Gamers2's favor. Even though some decent crowd control out of Reason hit, Jeebus is just too strong right now. However, Reason Gaming will take down mid turret. And maybe with their first turret of the game, it might get them back on track.
Nice. Chilling Smite comes through, followed by the Solar Flare. Jumped out by Ica, burning that big summoner. Comes across with a 2-shot barrage, landing onto 2. Zayu was still being chased after. Gilius was on the hunt for him, but didn't quite get him down. Meanwhile, Smitty is jumping onto Livik. Has a lot of spears right through him, but there's a great Fate's Call. We'll be dragging him back to his AD carry, and they make a swift escape.
Just enough to save them, but Gamers2 right now know that that pressure was enough, because now they can just siege this bottom lane turret. Take a look at top lane. There's a big wave pushing in to the inner turret, so someone from Reason has to go and sort that out. Reason are not in a position to defend their turret, so Gamers2 from here can just kind of push this down. Hiva!
Yeah, they're completely separated between the rock and a hard place, and now Kuban comes to engage onto Ica. Jeebus over the wall as well. He's right in the thick of the fight, and no one can focus him down. Zayu now comes in, gets the land shark jump onto Jeebus, but everyone's there to defend him. Kuban should be falling here. Everyone's so low. This could even be a 5-4-0 here. There's the Frost Bomb. He goes down, and Livik and Kuban are running away for their lives on less than 10% HP and critical health. They'll take the bottom turret. Gamers2 on a rampage.
Hiva spotted the great time to go aggressive onto Take Fun. He got him!
No way!
Whoa, twice in a game. Ica puts his true shot barrage across the map and picks up, well, first time he got an assist. That time was a kill. But that, oh, wow. Great timing on the ultimate out of Ica in that Ezreal
so many big
play.
plays this game, dude.
I was wanting to go back. I was ready in my head to go back to the beginning of that fight. He just drew me right back to the end. But now is my time to go back. Look, Hiva spots Take Fun out, and they know how many of the kills have gone on to Take Fun. Forced the Zhonya's after the stun. A great timing by Smitty J. Holds on until there are far more people under the queue. Then Take Fun can't even save himself with his ultimate in that little engage there. And Gamers2, grouping Reason into a tiny area, are able to turn the damage around from Jeebus.
Yeah, Zayu really wanted to get on top of Jeebus, but everyone had just kind of formed that protective shell around him, and it was just his time to shine. Picks up Celever and Ica with that fantastic snipe.
He got it. He got him good. That's,
yep, man, got him.
Ica, that goes onto Ica's highlight reel for sure.
Yeah. That is for sure. Take Fun now sitting in this jungle, looking for another pick, perhaps. He's gone back to base, has the Morello Nomicon. Spear comes through, doesn't land onto Zayu. Does follow through with a lot of poke damage. You have to take
care, Take Fun.
Yeah, take care, Take Fun. Oh, not this time.
Dancing shoes are on for Take Fun.
He's going to recall here in a very risky situation, and Gamers2 are being way more decisive about this. They're pushing right down the middle lane, right into their doorstep. Zayu also separated from the pack. They may even just sweep around and maybe pick him off. He's heading towards the team. This is a risky place to be.
Whoa, that damage onto Celever.
A lot of damage.
Man, that is an Infinity Edge Triforce Corki. Ooh, Spear landed through as well.
Okay, Reason Gaming are trying for the engage. Can they make it better than the last one? Take Fun will be using that ultimate on himself. Kubon's in the back line, but there's no one to deal the damage for him. He's distracting them, though. Has this bought the team enough to do anything else? The answer is no. Everyone is low from Gamers2, but they just don't have anything left. Nothing left in their arsenal, and they'll just finish what they came for. They take the middle turret.
Yeah, and Gamers2 right now just utilizing this poke from the three, Nidalee, Ezreal, and Corki just so very well. Smitty J's just standing there as a front line as well, and Gamers2 are so far ahead right now. Reason Gaming are struggling under all of this poke. They just haven't got the money to buy defensive items. Not even Zayu has had a chance to finish off his Warmogs here. It's still in pieces in his inventory.
Yeah, and it would be a good pickup if he can pick it up because there's so much mixed damage coming in, but yeah, it's just been spears, spears, mystic shots, spears, and so much poke from Gamers2. And when they're ahead, it's so much every single time it hits Reason Gaming that they're just finding it difficult to hold on. And they're kind of making the right decision. They're jumping in, they're going for those team fights, but it's never executed well enough where it puts them ahead because of those good decisions.
Yeah, that I think is fair to say right now. And this is a very different Reason Gaming and Gamers2 game than we saw yesterday.
Yeah. It could be our very first one-on-one. Every single series so far has gone 2-0.
That could be the case, and it looks like that's what was poised to be. You know, this actually looks like a role reversal from yesterday. Gamers2 look about as strong as how Reason Gaming were yesterday, and vice versa. Because although Take Fun is doing, or was doing a good job, he's gone from being 5-1 to 5-4 now in this matchup. And on the other side, Gilius is having a good game. We said if he gets ahead, he tends to do a good job. 5-2-8 currently on this Nidalee. And you have to think again, it was an oversight by Reason. They're going to engage.
There's Libic. He comes for the engage. There comes the Frozen Tomb once again. Can this go better for them? Take Fun will be going into a Zonya. Smitty J from the side. He'll be taking down Kubon once again. He comes out of there. So that's a 1-for-1 overall. Reason Gaming do take something away from that fight, but they're still behind. And they take the top turret coming in here. The middle lane is pushing, and this is getting out of control. Only 26 minutes in.
Yeah, bottom lane is pushing as well here for Gamers. So you can see they're already on to the Nexus turrets, and Gamers2 are onto the inhibitor turret as well. They've done a good job in this game of using this poke composition to a good effect, and Gamers2 right now 10,000 gold up in the lead. Smitty J.
Telekinesis.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, whatever floats your boat. Jeebus coming in here, putting down the poke. Reason Gaming, Libic does get caught here, but they're taking so much damage, and this is very early on into the game, but we may even be seeing an end to this one as they're still sieging up. They've taken those 3 inhibitors, and super minions are flooding into the base of Reason Gaming. We may be seeing them push this next turret in. Not quite yet. They're going to retreat and go back to Baron, make another play.
Yeah, they're going to head back, make sure that they've got all of their items. Maybe even, as you said, pick up a Baron here. They should feel confident enough with the amount of damage they have on this team composition. And Gamers2, this is what we're expecting out of them. This is exactly how they should be playing. And Zayu, can he do it? There's 2 men blocking him out. He's been stunned up.
Can he make the play? There's the Ezreal ultimate in for good measure. The inhibitor has respawned, but that's the Baron going down, and that will be going over to Gamers2.
Gilius died to Baron. during that engage. This engage isn't done.
Unbelievable, but Hiva comes in, he goes down as well. Now they move on to Ica, but he's just going to jump and dive away. Smitty J comes in from the side here. He's able to try and just tank up all of this damage, but now they're coming in for the extra damage from behind. Gamers too. Ica and Jiva just kiting back. They're putting the damage onto Kuban. He goes out. Oh, Limik from the sidelines. He was just ulted into them, but they don't have anything else to offer. Take Fun comes in. Jivas comes in for 1. He comes in for 2. He sweeps them up. Zayu from the sidelines moves on to Smitty. He gets him, but he jumps over the wall, and Smitty, with his dying breath, punches him in the gapper and takes him out.
In what is essentially a 4 versus 6, as Zayu dies, Respawns comes back to the fight with his ultimate as well. Gamers 2 just take that fight. They didn't even need Gilius after dying to Baron. That's going to be the end of the game. That was a crazy end to that game from Gamers 2. I'm at a loss for words on that one.
Yeah, like it looked scrappy in the last team fight. I was like, is this a comeback? Is this a comeback? Yeah. But all they were doing is just delaying time, and the minions were just there, just taking out the Nexus, which is kind of important.
Gamers 2 had got Jiba so far ahead and put Celiva so far behind. You saw how much a Scion with that much defensive itemization was just standing in front of Celiva. We said later on into the game, when you've got a Blade of the Ruined King and the rest of the items on Kalista, you can start chunking through a Scion. Not when a Scion is that tanky and you're so far behind on Kalista. But honestly, Gamers 2, from the beginning, just never let up in that game. Yeah, and from the beginning, it was Gilius, dude. Like, he's really been turning up in recent weeks. We were talking about his scoreline earlier. It was super good last week. But this is, again, we just saw that Gilius just getting better and better, and he really just brought them through the early game, and then the rest of the team could take it from there. And they passed on the baton, and they just took it to them. And that brings them 1-1 in this, it's not a best of 2 in these 2 games. So that evens it up, and that will put them tied now in the middle of the table instead of pushing them even further back. Yeah, indeed. That maybe is what Gamers 2 needed to kind of steady the ship. And honestly, they looked so much stronger than yesterday. I'm glad to see Gamers 2 now kind of back on form. Yeah, really nice to see indeed. But yeah, we're gearing up for our final game here. But yeah, that was really good to see from Gamers 2, I think it has to be said. I mean, I completely agree with you, mainly because, you know, yesterday when we were watching the game, we were like, this isn't the Gamers 2 that we're expecting at all. And Jeebus, after a quieter week last week, has kind of come back into things and is now performing pretty well. Yeah, indeed. But we need to give Nara time out. But when he's calmed down, Mouths and Lowland Lions settle the score on someone.